So now I'd like to segue into a recognition of Ben Bolusky's leadership of FNGLA. Some of you, I just talked to some of you as we were getting prepared, and some people didn't even know until recently that he's actually retiring this year after many years of leadership of FNGLA. I think we're checking to see if Ben is online and on Zoom. Okay. Ben, you popped up on our screen. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
All right, very good. Thanks for being able to tune in on Zoom, and I hope you feel better very, very soon. With that, Ben, you didn't know what I was going to say today, and sometimes that can be a little frightening, but it's a good story. So I just wanted to tell this story about your leadership and how much I appreciate it over the years and interacting with you. I first met Ben probably sometime in the mid-2000s, maybe early 2000s. I was a new assistant professor. I could not wait to go out and save the world. One of the things I was working on was water conservation, irrigated landscapes. And at that time, in the early 2000s, Florida had just come out of a pretty bad drought in the late 90s. And we were developing very, very rapidly then, even more so than now, very likely. And construction was booming. It was good for the plant industry. All the new landscapes were irrigated as they are today. And so things were good. Things were really good for the plant industry until they weren't good. And at that time, the only tool that water managers had was day of the week water restrictions. And in severe cases, cutting off irrigation, banning irrigation. That wasn't done until many, many years later. But in any case, under Ben's leadership of FNGLA, they realized that they had to put some effort into research and extension and communication on water issues around landscapes. So under Ben's leadership, FNGLA prioritized that type of research. I was fortunate to receive several of those research grants from the FNGLA Endowed Fund, and a number of you have also received those awards, and they go on today to work on important topics. Under the water category, though, Ben and longtime compatriot Hugh Gramling, who was the executive director of Tampa Bay Wholesale Growers. Some of you remember Hugh. He's been retired for a number of years now. And he was also a SwiftMud board member for a time. They realized that IFAS needed scientists, extension professionals, and communication staff to seek knowledge and extend that knowledge to stakeholders in a meaningful way to address these issues before they became an issue, really. Accordingly, they got to work, and over many legislative sessions, they secured funding for what ended up becoming the Center for Landscape Conservation and Ecology, CLCE. This was envisioned as an interdisciplinary center that bridged departments, and it still does today as part of CLU, Center for Land Use Efficiency. Recently, at the 2021 Virtual Landscape Summit, Ben called for elevating the use of FFL, Florida Friendly Landscaping, as a program for the state to provide aesthetically pleasing landscapes while protecting the environment. Ben led the creation of an FNGLA policy paper to that effect, and that policy paper was adopted by the FNGLA board earlier this year. And most recently, as Dr. Engel mentioned, we received the surprising good news that the FFL program will be receiving $2.5 million in funding pending the governor's signature. When I called Ben to ask him about this money, he just sort of chuckled and said, "Pretty neat, huh?" But that's Ben. So I don't know his involvement, but I do sense he's somewhere in the background there. So Ben, I will miss your calm demeanor, your understated wit, your can-do attitude, and I'm confident you are leaving FNGLA in good hands. I wish you the best in retirement. Hope you get over this cold that you have now. And we look very forward to maintaining and enhancing our relationship with FNGLA going forward. So thank you, Ben. If you want to say a few words, Ben.
Well, I never pass up much of an opportunity to turn that down. Thank you, Michael, very much for those very generous words. It's all one big team, and you've heard it from Dr. Johnson, heard it from Dr. Angle, with you, Michael, with Dean Copsel, and the entire team. It's a big effort, and FNGLA is absolutely committed to its relationship with IFAS. It's a treasured relationship, and we know that we need to drive sound IFAS science to reach urban landscape policies and solutions in whatever it may be, water conservation, proper natural resource management, irrigation system efficiency, Florida-friendly landscaping, fertilizer use, green infrastructure, wetland mitigation, urban shade canopies, and the list goes on and on, because this is central to what Florida will become in the days ahead, years ahead, as the growth continues. So I just wanted to give a tip of my FNGLA cap, which is missing from my muddled mind and head. I wish I was there with you, and salute all that everyone is doing with urban landscape. You know, when the CLCE was created, we realized back then, as you mentioned, Michael, that the drought had not only immediate impacts on the landscape segment of the industry, but also on the grower and retail segments of the industry. So we wanted to get our resources and muscle behind IFAS in creating the center to reach across disciplinary and departmental lines in order to address some of these issues. And what has been accomplished in these past many years is nothing shy of exceptional, but that is always what the industry has come to expect from IFAS. So a tip of the hat to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have a little surprise for Ben. He already knows what it is because he's not here. So if you're on Zoom, we're going to have a little intermission. We will start the talks at 2:20, but in the meantime, I'm going to reveal the surprise. Stand by. So everyone's probably wondering what's going on. If you know Ben, Ben really likes Diet Coke. So we had a cake made that looks like Diet Coke. So Ben, I very much regret that you're not going to get to partake in this. He says your share is available for those who want it, I guess. But anyway, this was our surprise, Ben. Sorry you couldn't be here, and enjoy this. And we're going to pass out. We've got some cupcakes that go along with the cake. We're going to pass those out now, and then resume talks at 2:20.
Thank you. And it shows once again how exceptional you all are, because you bring in not only a cake decorated in Diet Coke motif, but you bring it into a Pepsi campus at the university.
Yeah. We did talk about the potential repercussions. We feel safe.